Hey everybody, happy Easter. I'm so excited to be here with you today. It is Easter. We get to celebrate the resurrection together. So this morning, I want you to get ready to worship. I want you to get comfortable. If you've got coffee, whatever you need, just get it and be ready because this morning we are going to celebrate. But before we get into it, I just want to remind you that we have some care systems available for you if you need any help at all. It's care@islandschristian.org. Don't forget to email that if you have anything that you need. We love you and we want to help. Also, don't forget that you can text to give or you can give online on our website. The text is super easy. All you have to do is type in ICC Give at 77977. Boom. Click the link and you're in. It's done. It's awesome. I do it. It's super easy. Also, the last thing I want you to remember is this morning, I know for sure that you're going to be impacted by what Stephen has to say and the worship that we're going to experience together. But I'm also sure that you've got somebody you know in your life that needs to hear that too. So make sure you like, share, and make sure that they can see this with you. Even if it's later, even if it's not today, just get them to take a look at this because I know it's going to change their life.
I was buried beneath my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my tomb till I met you. I was breathing but not alive. All my failures I tried to hide. It was my tomb till I met you. You called my name and I ran out of that grave. You called my I needed rescue, my sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight of your glory. I needed shelter, I was an orphan, now you call me a citizen of heaven. When I was broken, you were my healing, now your love is the air that I'm breathing. I have a future, my eyes are open, 'cause when you call my name, I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day.
Hey, today is Easter and we are celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ, and we are doing it in a way like we have never done before. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, you know, Jesus came back from the dead to rescue us and put us back in relationship with God our Father, and we celebrate that today. But you know, Easter is more than just an event that we celebrate. It's also a reality that we participate in. We can be a part of this truth and live every day carrying Jesus with us. And that reality, that truth, it changes us. It alters us. It helps us to see the world completely differently. Imagine with me that you're out fishing on the boat and you're out in the ocean and you have your rod and reel there, and all of a sudden you drop it and you watch it sink into the deep, dark, murky waters. Now, it's not just any rod and reel, it's an expensive one. It's really valuable. Maybe your great-grandfather passed it down to you. I don't know, but you don't want to lose it. And your heart sinks as you watch it fall deeper into the water. But then, out of nowhere, your friend who's with you jumps into the water and dives in behind it. And they too disappear into the deep, dark water. And you think, oh my goodness, did I lose both the rod and reel and my friend? But then their hand bursts through the surface and the sun catches the rod and reel and you think, oh, they brought it back to me. I mean, that's the story of Easter. The story of Easter is about Jesus who dove into our deep, dark world to rescue us. He dove into my deep, dark heart to rescue me. He wanted to bring me back to the Father, and He wants to bring you back to the Father. You see, we are the valuable object that Jesus came to rescue. And by Him coming into the world to rescue us, He has changed everything. Not just you and me, but all of creation. The gospel writer John gives us some details that no other writer tells us. He's trying to help us understand the bigger picture of what's going on. For example, he makes a point to say that the tomb is inside of a garden. That means outside of Jerusalem, there was a beautiful garden, and someone who was wealthy owned it, and they gave it to Jesus so he could be buried there. And John makes a point to say it was in a garden where Jesus was buried. Don't miss that detail. But then he tells us on the first day of the week, when Jesus resurrected, that Mary went to check on the body of Jesus. But when she got there, Jesus was not in the tomb. The tomb was empty. And so she began to cry and she began to weep and she was sad. But then she realized that someone was behind her. She sensed it. And so she turned around and there was a man. And she thought the man was the gardener of this garden, which makes total sense because you would expect a garden to have a gardener that worked full time there. Now I just got to pause and make sure that we see these details. That John is saying, hey, the tomb was inside of a garden. Mary thought the man she saw was a gardener. He's not just giving us these details. He's trying to help us see a bigger picture of what's happening. So Mary goes to the man. In the midst of her crying and her sobbing, she says, "Where have you put him? What have you done with him? If you just tell me, I will go get him." And then there's silence. The kind of silence at the sunrise when the world is just coming back from its sleep. And then the man speaks. He says, "Mary." He says her name. And when she hears her name, all of her fear and all of her grief is shattered immediately. And she realizes that the man is not a gardener. He is actually Jesus, that he is resurrected from the dead, that Jesus is alive. He had come back from the dead. Why does John give us these details? I mean, why does he tell us about the garden and the gardener? Well, I think John is trying to help us see the bigger picture. I think he's trying to help us see that there's more going on than just a historical recording of the resurrection of Jesus. John wants us to know that this is the beginning of the new creation, the promise that God said he would do, that he would make the world over again, that he would put everything right. And the reason I think that is because if you look back at the beginning of the Gospel of John, John tells us that Jesus created everything, that everything that has been made was made by him. So that makes us think about the book of Genesis. And so we go look at the book of Genesis and we realize that creation started on the first day of the week. And here we have Jesus resurrecting on the first day of the week. But also in the creation account, we are given a garden to live in with relationship with God forever. In other words, God made a place for us to flourish as human beings, a place without pain, a place without heartache, where we could be in relationship with him. And I think John is saying with the resurrection account that Jesus has been resurrected because God is going to make the world brand new again. He's going to make it so we can live in relationship with him forever in a place without pain, a place without heartache or stress or anxiety, that world is coming, that it is a reality. It is on the way. But what about now? I mean, I know that's probably what you're thinking, right? What about now, Stephen? So what if the world's going to be made new one day? Big deal. So what if new creation is coming? Big deal. I mean, look around the world today. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of heartache. There's a lot of brokenness. There's so much fear and anxiety. And you know, you're right. Our world remains broken. And we are still waiting on the promise of the new world coming. But you know, there's an early Christian writer, a guy named Paul. He said that if anyone comes to Jesus, they are made into a new creation now. He actually goes on to say the old has gone and the new has come. So what he's basically saying is that if anyone comes to Jesus, they can go ahead and experience being made new, being made into a new creation, like one day the world will be made into. So what will one day be true of like these trees and this marsh and this beautiful place, it's all just a shadow of itself, of what it will one day be. What it will one day be, we can all already experience right now. We can already experience being made new. And what does that mean? Well, that just means that our entire perspective, our entire worldview can be totally changed. Everything can be altered. And how that plays out practically is in our relationships and in our heart and in our mind. And so in our relationships, all of a sudden our marriages are completely different because we've come to Jesus and we've been made new. Our relationship with our kids, whether they be really small or already be grown, like it can be totally different because we've come to Jesus and been made new. When it comes to what's going on in our heart and our mind, all the fear and the anxiety and the stress, all of a sudden we have a new perspective on all of that, and we have peace and we have confidence that because Jesus resurrected from the dead and because he's made us a new creation, we are safe no matter what. I mean, our lives will be totally different once we come to believe this truth and carry around the living Jesus with us every day. As we walk in this truth that he is alive, that he's overcome death, and that one day the world's going to be put to right, but we can be right with him now, man, that changes us completely. It changes everything. And we believe that this is possible for you. And if you're watching this and you're going, I just don't think people change like that. I don't think I can change like that. I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've seen it happen. Where people who've come to know Jesus be completely different people because Jesus made them a new creation. We believe that you can be a new creation in Jesus Christ, and that your life can be totally different, and you can walk in peace and confidence forever with Him. Do you want that? We would love to help you begin again.
your faithfulness. I will rest in your promises. My confidence is your faithfulness. And I will rest in your promises. My confidence is your faithfulness. I will rest in your promises.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm sure that this was something that you thoroughly enjoyed. I know I did. But make sure that you go to our website, click on the link to give, and support what's happening here. Or you can just text ICC Give to 77977. It's so easy. If you or your family need help, or even if some of your friends need help, make sure that you email us at care@islandschristian.org. We have a team of people that are ready to join together to help you and to lift you up in this time. The last thing I want to remind you of is if something impacted you today, if you heard something that you felt changed you or helped you grow closer to Jesus, I guarantee that there's somebody in your life that needs to hear the same thing. Because you don't know, it might just change their life. So today, love on your family, spend some time with them. We love you, and happy Easter.